Jackie, I always thought was a good player, you know, but I didn't want to flower his nest, you know, to feather his nest rather by saying that he was a good player, because cynics say, oh, well, naturally he'll say that, you know, as his brother. I never said it, although I always felt it. I thought he carried Leeds for a good few years before they became the team that they are now.
I don't particularly like playing against him. I always feel that sometimes he's going to run past me and leave me sat on my backside, and I'm going to look a right fool. And the ambition is to catch him once. You know, to give him a start and catch him. I don't think I could, but I would like to try.
Bobby and Jackie Charlton were born in Ashlington, one of those remarkable mining villages in the northeast, where if you want a good footballer, you simply whistle down the pit and up comes an international. Bobby and Jackie Charlton were born to be footballers. Their mothers are Milburn, a family which has provided through the years enough good footballers to make a first division side.
When you go to school, your dad walked in the mine. Well, it was an understood thing that you followed him. You followed straight in after him. As soon as ever you left school. I remember the night that I left school at 14 years of age. On a Friday night, the teacher says, well, you're finished with Robbie. They called me Robbie then, in them days. And I went out in North Seaton College. That's the one that's done, like now. And got started. He says, you can start tomorrow, which was Saturday morning. And I've even got a day off. That's the way things went then. Life in Ashlington was just about the same as it is now, you know. There was lads coming on, you know, as footballers as our brothers and one thing and another. They were famous lads in their day. I had 4 sons, and I always said, I don't want any of my boys down the pit to do what I've had to do in my lifetime to make a living. I was quite happy, man, when I got them all out anyway. I got term and gold and trained as engineers, and cost a lot of money for me, you know, to do it. Bobby and Jackie got themselves out as footballers like.
The mines was the only occupation where anybody could be in with any sort of security. It's not so now, but it used to be. And of course, if you could become a footballer, that was the highest achievement you could possibly reach up there, because they love football so much.
With me, it was a case of there was going to be nothing else but football. There was either the mines or football, and having a family which was connected with football all over the country, that was about all that was left for me.
But you can always tell a miner by just looking at his hands. My dad's hands, you know, anybody looking at them for the first time would think, oh, you know, he doesn't wash his hands. But when you look at it, it's not dirt, they were all cuts. Little cuts, hundreds and hundreds of cuts that had accumulated over the years. When I look at mine, they're soft, I feel it. Anybody looking at mine and think, now what did he do for a living? Probably look at my feet and I'd say something, but my hands, nothing.
Who's this then?
That's me.
grandfather.
That's
Jack
my
and-
great-grandfather
It's
and
your
your
grand-
grandfather. Yes, that's an old picture. Nice to look back on, weren't they? Who's this?
That's their horses. Football team.
Oh, this
Fine.
is my grandfather Milburn.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. He used to do a 12-hour shift at the pit, then come out and play straight away and play football on a Saturday afternoon. And he was so strong, he was nicknamed as the old horse. Now, who's on this one? My dad. I think that's him. He was the goalkeeper, my dad, wasn't he?
Goalkeeper.
When my mother was in bed having our Jack, they brought him in with 3 broken ribs playing goalkeeper, and my mother was in bed as well. 1921 to 22.
The strikes used to be on, and well, soup kitchens used to be on, where we were trying to make a few cuppas for the soup kitchens. So we went and played football in the field. So I was supposed to be centre forward.
This is my brother Jack Milburn, and this is George, that played both together for Leeds United. Oh, well, this is recognisable. Frank Swift. Oh, Billy Wright, Tom Finney, Stanley Matthews, Jackie Milburn, of course. Takes you back looking at him like this. He was very young here. The idol of Newcastle, of course. He's got some fantastic goals. He's a legend every time the cup ties come up, isn't he? Great lad.
I think we were brought up more or less to go out and try and prove to the public that you had a certain amount of skill. And it's the same when you watch Bobby and Jackie Charlton now. They go out there and they really enjoy themselves for about an hour, and they don't realise, I think I was the same, they don't realise what the game's all about or what pressure is demanded until something happens, until the realisation strikes them that this game's got to be won. And it's been proved, it was proved a few cases in my own case, you know, that I scored quite a few goals in the last few minutes of the match. And Bobby and Jackie in particularly this season, I think he scored about 9. It's the same with young Dennis Common, my sister's boy. Oh, there's no doubt. I'm saying that I don't miss it. You've always got that yearning. Once a footballer, always a footballer. And as I say, I've known nothing else since I was a kiddie. And it just gets you.
Fans, I hope you learned a lesson tonight. You had that game well and truly won, or you should have done, and you just let it slip. Now, you can't afford to do that on Saturday. No. All chances must be taken and half chances as well.
I'll tell you what was the matter there today. You had so much of the play, you went forward too often, and you forgot the back. You don't think so yourself? In which? Yorkshire. You still beat Yorkshire. You're playing them on Saturday. You think so? Dennis, as an inside forward, he's got to watch you. You've got to leave him. You're much more concerned on watching him. Therefore, what you're doing is you're playing as a defender instead of an inside forward. Do you not agree with that? What are you going to do on Saturday? Play as an inside forward. Exactly. Let them watch you. That's their job, Dennis. When you're getting towards the end of your career, it sort of hits you within 2 or 3 months that you're wanting to do things that you really can't. Your mind's willing, everything's willing, you know what you've got to do, and when you just can't do it and can't get there, you've got the feeling then, well, this is my day. And believe you me, for a professional footballer, this is the saddest moment of your career, when things that you want to do and you just can't. But doesn't matter what happens, there's one thing that can never take away from you, fortunately, and that's the wonderful memories that you have in football.
And now England are away. From a slide rule Finney pass, Jack Milburn makes it 2-0. The rebuilt England attack, though not perfect, is finding goal scoring easy. Unstoppable Milburn puts them 3 up. The only man who builds up his reputation is Jackie Milburn. From a Finney cross, the Newcastle man heads home number 4. The cheers are for Jackie Milburn, whose hat-trick won England the day and himself a page in soccer history.
As a young fella, I was keen on boxing and one thing and another, and pigeon fancier and keeping poultry. And yes, I used to keep whippets one time. A little one about 10 inches high. So I used to go and take Bobby to Rodbury, see him playing down in East Northumberland, and Jack up to Berwick, see them play there when they were young. And Bobby seemed to always stand out to me. He looked like a natural Bobby.
I was very fortunate actually, because I started, you could say I started at the top because I came to a fashionable club, Manchester United, you know. I did quite well.
At 20, he was a member of Manchester United's most famous team, the Busby Babes. They went to Belgrade in the European Cup, and on their way back, they stopped at Munich.
I had had an uneasy feeling all morning, but I always worried when they were flying. And this special Thursday morning, I went over to a neighbour across the road, and I don't usually go into anybody's house, but I had to go into this neighbour's house, and I said I was worried, I wish they were home. And I came home, and then about 3 time it was when Ted Coburn, who has the post office up there, he came around, and he was as white as a ghost, and I just said to him, "It's Bobby, isn't it, in the plane?" And he said, "Yes, I'm afraid so."
I knew that we were running off the runway, and then we hit a house, and I don't remember anything till after it was all over. I must have been out for about 10 minutes. Although it seemed as though I just closed my eyes, you know. Then, when I woke up, I saw Harry Gregg, and the fire engines and the ambulances started to arrive. So it must have happened I must have been out about 10 minutes. I consider myself most fortunate, you know, because not only was I alive, but I had no serious injury or anything. When you think of the accident itself, how many were killed?
Tremendous blow, tragic in every possible way. Team, there were only a lot of boys, and they had won the championship 2 years in a run. The world, I think, was in front of them. There's no knowing the heights they could have went to. This, unfortunately, was curtailed with this tremendous disaster.
The majority of them would possibly still be playing now, you know, even though it's 10 years ago. I mean, Duncan Edwards would most certainly be playing, David Pegg possibly, Jeff Bent, they weren't very old. I'm very grateful to them, actually, you know, because they set a standard, I think, for the rest of the lads here now. I think I would lose everything really if I had to stop playing football before the time. When I decide to retire, I'll be quite delighted. But if something stopped me from playing football while I was still capable, you know, that would kill me, I think. So football to me is just my life. You know, I eat, sleep, and drink football. When I wake up in the morning, I think who we're playing next Saturday, who we're playing today. You know, I think of nothing else apart from my family, of course. So really, I can't say anything against football, you know. I wish I could play till I was about 60 or 70, you know. When you do earn some money, you know, you get to appreciate it because you realise that you've not always had it. You know, I appreciate money now, you know, and I look after it I enjoy myself, but I look after it, but I think it all came from that basic point that it was so hard to come by then. The first few years that I could remember, it really was the yardstick for all that was to come afterwards.
Yes, hello? Yes? Yes, Frank. Yes. You just see those desks. You know what it's all about, Frank. Yeah, yes.
Well, Mad Busby, when I first came down, was everything with Manchester United. Everything revolved around Mad Busby, I thought anyway. But the first year or two, I probably spoke to him only half a dozen times. He was the overriding body at Old Trafford, but there was Jimmy Murphy and Bert Wally who had me most of the time. And I really used to think then, well, Mad Busby's getting a lot of recognition for the work done by Jimmy Murphy and Bert Wally, etc., you know. And it's not until you get a bit more experience that you appreciate that really they were only passing on what he'd already said, you know.
It was quite in the case it could have played at Old Trafford, the first one, and we decided to go there. And of course, we didn't do so very well there either. Yeah, well, I say with the situation, Dennis is the stumbling block at the present time. If he's there, there's George, there's Bobby, and there's Dennis. Well, you're as well off as anybody could possibly wish to be.
Who do you support?
Manchester United.
Why?
Because they're the best.
Man United.
Why?
Because they're great.
Because they're great. Are we Chelsea?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Best
Great
shot in
shots.
the world.
Yeah? Who's your favourite player?
Dennis Law.
Georgie best.
Yeah?
He's best dribbler.
Charlton really affects me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely style.
Yeah? What about Bobby?
And Bobby.
Why Bobby?
Yeah.
The king.
So he's the king.
What did you think of the Munich team?
It was a great team. The team that this team would have never got a reserve place.
I like George because of his ball control and that.
Yeah.
And Bobby Charlton because he's the greatest.
Oh, United the greatest, the best team. And they're going to win the league and the European Cup.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's the greatest.
Well, I've got to 30 now, and people say when you get to 30, that's the footballer's end, so to speak. But I don't feel stiff, I don't feel old. So eventually when I do pack it in, if I can just be a supporter then, I'll buy a red and white scarf, and go down to Old Trafford, have a good cheer. not being too soft, but I get more pleasure out of winning than personally playing well. I don't consider it any great feat to score 3 against Luxembourg, any of the lesser known countries, Switzerland, etc. I'd rather that we won. If we won 1-0, as long as it was an important match and we played hard and won, I get more satisfaction out of that than actually playing well personally. All the time I'm trying to think, well, am I in the right place here? Am I far enough up? Am I far enough back? The man that I'm supposed to be watching, am I near enough to him in case he gets the ball? That sort of thing. Depending on the result, or how the game's going, depends on how free you feel to express yourself. You know, I always feel a bit apprehensive to do it at the start. I always feel better when we get a goal in front. Fear's none at all. Not about getting hurt or anything like that, because I don't play that type of game. Possibly a little fear, you know, about being injured, knowing that you're playing a match every 3 or 4 days. Once we got up front, once we got into a 2-goal lead, although you want to play well for the spectators and everybody like that, you don't want to do anything that's going to injure your chances of playing next time.
It wasn't until we were more or less both left home and went away to play various teams that we really became friends. I didn't have a lot to do with him. He had his friends, I had my friends. I didn't get along with him very well at that time, mainly because I was the older brother, and I got lumbered with him all the time.
He was a good bit older than me, although it appears that we're the same age now. Then he was 2.5, 3 years older than I was. He just didn't mix with me at all. We went to different schools all the time. We didn't spend a lot of time. We spent a lot of time together out of school and that, but we played football occasionally for the same side.
If I was going anywhere, I wanted to go bird nesting or fishing, and we used to say, take our kid with you, you know, and I used to take him with me. And it was a bit galling at the time, because he wasn't interested in the sort of things I was interested in. But I used to like all sorts of things, fishing, birds nesting, just spend days away from home.
Have you seen a woodpigeon today?
Just them two. Just them two, they're too far away to get a shot at.
Come on, Whiskey, see what you can sell, Ruth.
It was them best.
The right one. Stick him in and we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Come here, come here. Yeah.
Come on. Come in. Get him out of there.
Oh, no, leave him. Just look at it. Good. No. Come here, Cissie.
No, look at him. There they have. Poor little brother. Come on, beauty. Come on, beauty. Right, we're sticking in the hole. There he goes. You want to like a butter to hell, is it?
Fair fly down there.
Shut down, isn't it?
Get back in.
Well, I had an uncle playing here at the time, Jimmy Milburn, played fullback for Leeds. And he wanted me to come down when I was 15, but I wasn't too keen on leaving home at that time. In fact, I had a choice to come to Leeds or go into the pit, and I thought I'd try the pit first. I wasn't too happy about leaving. However, when I had a look where I was going to work, I thought, well, the football can't be any worse than that. And I left and came to Leeds. I played my first junior game at fullback. We lost 1-0. But I stayed on at Leeds then, went home, packed my bags properly, because I only came for the weekend then. And came back down on the following Tuesday, and I've been here ever since. I served a hard apprenticeship on the ground stuff, and I think most lads at that time did. You're a lackey. You do every menial task there is to be done on the football ground. Like cutting grass and cleaning out toilets and washing down walls and all these sort of things. Cleaning boots, piles and piles of boots, and changing studs, and cleaning dressing rooms out and sweeping terracing.
But I said to him one day, when I was a player playing inside right for Leeds United as a player, and Jack was centre half, that if ever I became manager of this club, I wouldn't play him in the reserve side, because I felt at that time he was an undisciplined player, and he only went out to enjoy his game, and really wasn't bothered about how the team performance was going to carry on that day.
I remember once at Aberdeen, no, we played Wraith Rovers. We played Wraith Rovers in a friendly game, and Jack was on one of these days where he, you know, was casual, lethargic, and couldn't care less. He had appeared to have no interest in. Jack Taylor was the manager, and Jack had a word with him at half time. His immediate reaction to this was to pull this jersey off, throw it on the floor and say, right, get yourself a fresh boy. This was his attitude, you know.
When I took over as team manager, I had a long chat with Jack because I felt he had great potential at that time. That was 7 years ago. And I remember calling him in the office one day and saying to him that if he really pulled his socks up and got down to his training and started to think about the game and play for the team, that he would play for England. And I also said that he would have had as many caps as his brother Bobby at that time if he'd really buckled down from being a youngster.
I would say it changed overnight. I say since he started to study the game and became interested in coaching, we've seen the benefit of all this. He's seen the benefit of this now at England level. You see, he's going with these top-class players and he realises this is the way to do it. Now he's starting to think about the game. He's becoming responsible to himself and responsible to other people.
When you go out there, we've got a lot of noise over on the road, we've got a lot of noise over on the top. Now, the kids all want to hear what you're coaching, and I want to hear more than anybody because I'm the one who's going to give you a mark. Okay? So when you get out there and you're going to take the kids, make them hear you and make them understand what you want to do. I want to understand and they want to understand. Okay?
Will you go in that goal over there, please? Now, you three lads are defenders, right? Now I'll have you three. Will you just stand out a moment, please? No, not you. Right? And watch. Okay, one ball. Now I want you to take up your normal positions as you would. This is a game situation, lads, so get right into it. You just bring the ball up. Come on. This is called an axis defence, right? Now, you've got depth here, you see. You see this? You're covering him and he's covering you, okay? And you're covering all the space in between these men and yourselves, okay? Right, let's see you play this. That's it, well played. Okay, that's far enough, lads.
How many did I put in? Two. Now what happens?
We're off.
Look at me.
People say, Revy, you know, they can't understand why Leeds United are such a dirty side at the moment and the manager was such a gentleman when he played. Revy was never a coward. He knows what's required in order to get results. And he won't stand for any of us chickening out. I don't think he ever chickened out. We're as hard as we can be, and yet stay inside the letter of the regulation. It's not particularly our fault at all the time. We're not really a hard side, only with a few young lads in the side and they get involved in things which they shouldn't. I've been involved in things myself. Blow-ups by us can be exactly the same as blow-ups which happen all over the world of football on a Saturday. But because it's us, and because the FA published figures that we were the dirtiest team in the league about 4 or 5 years ago, this is stuck with us like glue. And unless we go now 6 or 7 seasons without any of these blow-ups, we're never going to live this tag down.
Shit! Right then, don't go to your other team, mate. Go to them. Yeah. That's good.
Once you're in football, you never want to go out of it. It has its heartaches and ups and downs, but it has its joys at the same time. But the thrill of the match on a Saturday is really something.
Me, I don't like the ball very much. If I can avoid having it, I will do. The only time I get involved is if I have to get involved. lot about tactics on the field, and we're all instructed at Leeds, especially now, to feel your way in the first 10 minutes and then to make up your mind what's going to happen depending on what the other team are going to play. We think they're going to play a certain way before we play them, but if by some chance they play a different formation state, then it's up to us to alter our sort of play as well. If the ball's there and I get kicked, all right, it's just a hazard of the game. But if the ball isn't there and somebody kicks me, I will retaliate. That's what I've been done for. This idea of people spitting on you, I won't stand for that either. But I'll retaliate and take the punishment as long as I can belt him for doing a thing like that. We've never yet had instructions to ever go out and kick anybody. I've got a few people that have done things to me that I don't approve of, and if I get the chance, I'll probably do it back to them. But I'm not going to mention any names. When I got picked for the England-Scotland game, the first one I played, the World Cup was 2 years away, or near enough 2 years away at the time. And to look forward and say, I'll be playing in the England World Cup team in a year, and then, I thought, well, I've got a cap, which is as much as you can expect at my age. I was 28, nearly 29 at the time. I never dreamt that I would still be there in the World Cup. Playing for England, it's big in any footballer's life. It's the only place to play. You play for your club all your life and never have any recognition. But to play for England, once you've had a taste for it, it is the only place to play. Especially when you've got a brother in there already and you've got a chance of joining him.
down the pit and doing a job, and a fella come running to me. He says, Bob, he says, you've got to go at the phone. There's a long distance call from London. They want to speak to you. So I says, well, who could it be from London? So I went anyway and got on the phone, and I think it was David Coleman. And he said that he had getting instructions from Lord Rubens for to have me out of the coal mine before 11 o'clock at night for the, say, the nearest television that I could go to, you see. That there was something to my advantage.
After 31 minutes, Pereira only half cleared. The ball went to Bobby Charlton, and Jeff Hurst in possession. Across to Bobby Charlton. Another great goal.
I went and got bathed and went to the managers, and oh, such a lovely spread laid out for me. And all of a sudden he switched the television on, which was 11 o'clock, as they said on the television. It was going on the telephone. So switch it on, and David Coleman come on, and he says, we're showing this special film for Mr. Charlton as he is down the mine, 2 mile underground, and we're getting him out of the pit for to see this film that he was unfortunately he missed.
A floated centre to see Banks. Jackie Charlton handled the ball away. Eusebio took the kick.
Well, I thought it was a great thing, you know, seeing a thing like that, and after we've seen the match, smoked a few cigars and one thing another on cigarettes, and that was it.
England had won 2-1. What a moment for Bobby Charlton. His goals had taken England into the final. Eusebio wept as he left the field. Congratulations to England. 11 good sportsmen whom Alf Ramsey welded into a great team.
Nobody ever beats England in England very easily. I mean, they'd only lost 1 international in the whole history of the game before that. So I couldn't see any even World Cup teams coming here and giving England any start at all. So I always thought England had a chance. I always thought they would win it, but when I got in, I was inclined to change my mind a little bit, because then I was part of it, and it wasn't so easy.
Fortunately, Gordon Banks anticipated his shot. No time for lethargy or half measures. They swept into German territory. Charlton and his fellow sharpshooters came back time after time in the Ramsey spirit, believing that with sustained attack the goals must come. Then Jeff Hurst, cool and collected, had the ball in the net. No, it bounced out. Goal claimed England. No goal, protested the Germans. The referee consulted the linesman, who'd been in line with the posts, and goal it was. When there was only a minute to go, racing to beat the whistle, Jeff Hurst saw an opening in the defence and achieved a hat-trick.
I was delighted that we had shown, you know, that we could play. And for the crowd too, you know, because England hasn't had much to cheer about lately, you know, as far as sport goes, you know, so I was pleased that we were the ones to do it.